Hey friends, I hope this finds you doing well. I was reading in the book of Isaiah and came across a passage that I found very encouraging and wanted to share it with you. The story of the nation of Israel is one of many ups and downs, some times of great success and conquering and victory, and then times of oppression and defeat as they would wander from the will of God and find themselves oppressed by the enemy. In Isaiah 40, they have some questions about God and their suffering. They didn't always make a very clear connection between their rebellion and disobedience and the suffering that they were experiencing. I imagine that it is true of us as well, that when our loving Abba disciplines us and we're experiencing hardships, that we don't always tie it to an attitude or action of rebellion. But we need to remember that in all of these things, that the actions of God, the things that he allows to come into our lives, he does to draw us to a deeper understanding of our need for him. The things that he calls us to are for our good. His commands are our blessings. He commands, he prohibits what is bad for us, which is destructive to our kingdom, which brings chaos into our lives. He commands what is our good. Well, beginning in verse 28 of Isaiah 40, he says, have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases strength. Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles, and they shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Do you see it? You see, our understanding of what's going on is so limited by our perspective, but we serve the eternal, sovereign, creator God who has no limit to his power. And when we don't understand, those are the times, the very times that we need to stop and remember what we know about God, that he is in control of our lives, that he is the one who sustains us. He calls us to a life, an attitude of absolute dependence and surrender to him. Because even though there are times when we faint and there are times when we grow weary, he does not. I'm often perplexed. I often say, Lord, what's this about? And why is this happening? And what's going on here? God never has those questions. He knows, and he's working. And even when it's perplexing to me, his understanding is unsearchable. And here is a truth that is so powerful in the gospel. He comes not for the strong, but for the weak. He gives power to the faint. You see, we resist weakness. We resist needing to call upon him because we think, hey, I can do this. But he wants us to remember that it's never about our sufficiency. It's never about our strength. It's never about our wisdom. The gospel is good news because it's always about the Christ. And to him who has no might, he increases strength. So when we find ourselves completely at the point of brokenness, when we find ourselves at wit's end, we call upon him who lives in us. Remember, he is the sustainer of the universe. He's the creator. And you know what he says? To him who has no might, he increases strength. He says, yep, even the youth, they're going to run out of strength and power. But look at this beautiful promise in verse 31. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. And so, that's our call, to simply wait on the Lord. And remember, as his child, he lives in us. He is not distant to us, but we simply consent to allowing him to work in us and through us in his time. Resist the temptation to get ahead of him and try to do something for him. Wait on him. Let him be the empowerment, the action to express himself through us. For then he is our strength. He renews all our strength from weakness to strength. And they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. That's your promise today. That's my promise today. Just to live in a relationship of utter dependence upon his indwelling presence. When I'm weak, then he is strong. I don't have to do it for him. I simply need to consent to let him do whatever he wants to do, say whatever he wants to say, give whatever he wants to give through me as his vessel, the one who contains his life. So it's okay to be weak, because then he's strong. It's okay to have to lack an understanding, because he is my wisdom. Well, I hope this encourages you as you go through the rest of the week. God bless.